Animals get from consuming the energy of the earth. Okay? So, eating in harmony with the earth energy to keep yourself whole and healthy is what we look at as nutrition. Basic concept. If you don't consume the energy of the earth in one way or another, you won't be healthy. And you'll die. So, top three. These are important. Top three. Meditation, mind-body exercise, nutrition. These are the essential components to health and wholeness. This is what we would like to use to keep ourselves healthy and whole. The next stage of wholeness. Nisha? Nisha? Good evening. And if you could take a chair, come forward and join us. So the top three: meditation, exercise, nutrition. The fourth component that we use in our 8 is feng shui. Feng shui. Feng is wind, shui is water. And it's living on the earth in harmony with wind and water. In Western terminology, we call it geomancy, reading the earth. Reading the earth for its beneficial aspects.
Can you say it was wind? I'm sorry, what's that?
Feng is wind. Shui is water. Wind and water. So this is being in harmony with earth energy. Now, we're not consuming earth energy in this case, we're being with earth energy. And feng shui is the idea of how to be in harmony with the energies of the earth, being in the right place on the earth for your growth, cultivation, health. For an individual, it's not necessarily the case that all places are good places. Some people need warmer climates, some people need colder climates, some people need drier climates, some people need wetter climates, etc. Okay, it's not the case that all places on earth are good for you, although we try and force it because we have modern technology. Right? We can live in the cold and be warm. And it costs us a little, but we can live in the cold and be warm. We can live in the warmth and be cold. Right? We can manipulate our environments to whereas it's beneficial for us. But it's expensive. It's costly. Now, with regards to your health, one of the ideas of feng shui is that your body is your home. And the energy of your body should flow like wind and water. Your body should flow like wind and water. If you notice the movements in the martial arts that we saw this evening, the body flows. It flows like wind and water. In order to be healthy on the earth, you have to be able to spontaneously move like wind and water. It is necessary. You know, they had an earthquake over there in India, on the coast. Yeah, on the coast. And after the earthquake, they had a tsunami. Well, yeah, we know this. Well, before the earthquake, the bugs, the cats, and the birds, they moved inland. Okay? The people, they stayed along the coastline. Right? The bugs and the birds, they already knew something was up. And they just... Right? And they didn't come back until after the tsunami. Right? First they were gone when the earthquake came. And then, after the tsunami, then they came back. Right? So what did they do? They moved like wind and water. It was time to move, they moved. It was time to come back, they came back. Okay. We don't do that. What do? I'm going to stay here. Whoa, that's what we do. Okay. Remember last week I said that in meditation you allow yourself to become aware of the subtle irritants, the subtle irritations, and that's what you're responding to? Well, every phenomenon in life has precursors, has a wavefront. It's like it gave you signals before the bulk or the body of the phenomenon was actually upon you. It gave you signals all along the way. He said, I'm coming. I'm almost here. I'll be there in another... You get signals all along the way. But, is this the class where I said there's not really any accidents? Okay. Okay. So we get these little signals all along the way. I'm coming. It's going to happen anytime now. Okay? And then we get this convergent phenomenon happen. Boom! And then we say, oh my God! Oh my God! It just happened. Yeah, right. Nothing just happens. There's always precursors. There's always a wave front. If it's moving through space and time, it must have a wave front. Now, can you perceive it? Anybody can see the disaster when it's on top of them. Okay? But who's the one that perceives the disaster before it manifests and then does something about it? Wind and water. You have to move like wind and water, spontaneously. Now, we hear this a lot in our culture. You know, it's starting to become buzz in our culture. Flow, go with the flow, let go. Right? It's becoming buzz. But the thing is this. We can perceive how water flows. And we say, oh yeah, I get that, you know, go around things, flow. But wind, if you moved like the wind, how would you be moving?
All over the place.
Yes, you would, wouldn't you? Spontaneously, all over the place. Now,
Okay, it's just, I seem to recall spontaneous meaning, you know you're doing it without thinking, so I'm just, it's like, why would I do something without thinking about it?
Because thinking is overrated.
Touché.
70% of the things that you think about are wrong.
Yeah.
Another 70% of the things that you think about are things that you've been thinking about for God knows how long. And they're still just running around in your head. Thinking is overrated.
Okay.
Right? Think less, do more. Because your real value is in the experience of life, not in the thinking about life. Life is to be experienced and realized, not to be thought about.
That's what I don't have anything else to do.
Thinking is overrated. The prefrontal cortex is the last part of the brain to develop. Not that thinking isn't necessary, but if your calculations, this is what the wise ones have said, if your calculations go beyond your fingers, okay, and if your logic goes beyond this or that, yes or no, yay or nay, you're getting too complicated. And complexity leads to disaster. Did you do it? Yes or no? Do you want it? Yes or no? Well, you know. Either you do or you don't. Right? Either you did or you didn't. Either you will or you won't. Either you are or you are not. Keep it simple. Thinking is overrated. Thank you for the interjection. So, the idea is to move in harmony with the energies that you are perceiving and to keep yourself uninhibited so that you can move like wind and water. Now, don't get me wrong. When I was a young man, I thought about that. I said, wait a minute. What type of life are you leading if you're moving spontaneously from place to place, from moment to moment, like wind and water? Forget about a job. No, well, very few jobs will tolerate that, right? You have to have a hell of a job that's going to tolerate you just free-flowing from one point to another. Then I said, whoa, wait a minute, how many languages do you have to speak? You're going from one place to another, to another, to another, to another, to another. I thought about this. Let me tell you what I found. What I found out was the universe will provide for you. The Tao will provide, God will provide for you. Oops. Do you believe that? Do you trust that? Do you have faith in that? I'm here to tell you that if the universe does, and it will. It will provide for you. So you don't have to go from point to point to point to point to point to point. You're concerned about a job. That's an unnecessary concern. I said I was going to be blasphemous, didn't I? Okay. I warned you. You don't have to worry about a job. And yes, the universe will provide for you. consideration that I presented?
Language.
Language. Thank you. You know what I found out? I found out that wherever you go in the world, we all speak the same language. Who knows what language that is?
Smile.
Should it?
Body language.
You said love. You said
I said smile.
you said smiling. You said body. Who else?
I'm going to say the truth just for the heck of it.
You're going to say the truth. We all speak the same language of emotions. Emotion is a universal language. Everybody knows what happiness is. Everybody knows what anger is. Everybody knows what hate is. Everybody knows what disgust is. Everybody knows what love is. Everybody knows what joy is. So we have a language, a universal language, that has about 9 basic categories of grammar. And then there's little subtle nuances in there. I hang out with a cross-cultural group of people. And there'll be 4, 5, or 6 of us. Now, English is the common language between, they're from Greece, they're from Bosnia, they're from, we're Africa, they're from different, right? But English will be the common language. But invariably, people have English trouble. English trouble. So, even though English is the common language between this international group, we really don't use English. We use emotion to communicate with each other. It's the smile, right? It's the attitude. It's the body language. Right? We use emotion to communicate with each other because if we started getting too complex with English, nobody knows what anybody's talking about. Right? But they know if what's going on is good for them or bad for them. Now, no matter what culture I went into, I could always tell the alpha person. Yes. I didn't care what culture I went into. Why? Because confidence is a universal emotion. Mm-hmm. And the alpha always has confidence. You don't have to know 25 languages. All you have to do is what? Be willing to express yourself emotionally, and you're communicating. So, if you're emotionally inhibited, well, we get that, we see that. But we also know that from a basic human point of view, there's something wrong with you. There's something wrong with you because you can't communicate clearly if you're emotionally inhibited. Or you can communicate that you're emotionally inhibited so someplace along the way something happened to you. That's what you're communicating. But you can't go through the full range of joys and pleasures and frustrations and angers and, well, that's how we communicate. A person will walk into the room and you look and you know exactly where they're coming from. You know exactly what's going on with them. Oh, bad day, huh? You don't look like you're feeling too well. What are you angry about? They don't have to tell you, you already know. And if you can really get into the nuances of it, you don't even know why they're angry. You don't even know why. We tell children not to say what it is that they see. Don't say that, it's impolite. Don't reveal what this person is actually expressing because it's impolite. We can let ourselves know what people are feeling and thinking. As a matter of fact, we must be able to do that. We have to be able to do that. If a person is in your environment and they mean you no good, and they're expressing that emotionally, you need to know that. They don't have to tell you. Okay? Some people come in a dark cloud, just casts over everything. Emotions is universal language. So, who knows the song by the Three Dog Night? Joy to the World. How's it go? Jeremiah was a bullfrog. He was a good friend of mine. I never understood a single word he said, but
helped him drink his wine.
Joy to the world. Right?
Right.
See, because what you're going to find is it doesn't matter what they look like. It doesn't matter where they come from. It doesn't matter what language they speak. If we can resonate and click on that essential level, we're friends. And that's where it comes from. That's how it happens. Okay? But you also know if you don't. And interestingly enough, I was just giving my little baby girl life lessons today. You know, as she's 9, as little girl will be. She's concerned about people liking her. I said, okay. I said, take this lesson. Like those who like you. Those who don't like you, don't worry about it. Like those who like you. Oops. Why? Because Jeremiah was a bullfrog. Okay? You can't go by color. You can't go by ethnicity. You can't go by how they dress. You can't go by how they look. You can't go nothing. Like those who like you. And you will be wealthy with friends. But you can't choose your friends. You really can't choose your friends. You go around trying to like somebody that doesn't like you, you're going to get heartbroken. You're going to get dragged across the coals. A lot of bad things are going to happen to you. You try going around liking people that don't like you. Now, I've got people that make believe they like you just to drag you across the coals and cause your heart. That's make-believe. So, wind and water. Now, I hung out in the emotional area for a while because your emotions are supposed to flow like wind and water. You're supposed to experience them, get the information from them, and let them go. Experience them, get the information, let them flow. Because our emotions is telling us what's going on in our world. This is the signal that we get from the eddies of the precursing event. Right? An event is coming our way. It's sending out precursors. It's sending out frontal waves. We feel them. We're going to have an emotional response. Now we need to interpret that emotional sensation that we're experiencing. And the more subtle you can experience and interpret, the more you will be ahead of that event. Right? We call it precognition. Precognition. Or the scientists call it bullshit. Right? No two things can occupy the same space at the same time. You have an emotional state interrupted by another emotional state. No two things can occupy the same space at the same time. You use emotion to cure emotions. In our healing protocols, we actually introduce specific emotions to dispel emotions. Okay, it's called five-element healing. If you use emotions to resolve emotion, because no two things can occupy the same space at the same time. If you're experiencing one emotion, introduce another emotion, you have to introduce that emotion so that it displaces the emotion that is locked or stuck. But the important thing is to get it moving. Just get it moving, especially if it's just holding. But then again, the hardest thing to do is to not think about what you don't want to think about. Right? That's hard. So you have to introduce interference, pattern interference. It's just that now we know empirically what emotions introduce to interrupt the emotions that won't move on. Emotions are vibrations, and so we use vibrations to harmonize vibrations. We use vibrations to displace vibrations. We use vibrations to neutralize vibrations. Okay, thank you for the question. The next stage of healing is Ming Shu. Ming means bright. Shu means energy well, or energy whole. So Ming Shu are the stars in the sky, the bright energy holes in the sky. Ming Shu. So Ming Shu, from the Western point of view, is astrology. And Ming Shu is being in harmony with the movements of the astral energies. Being in harmony with the movements of the astral energies. Being in harmony with the movements of heaven. Or, as Western science calls bullshit. Yeah, it's interesting, they'll call it bullshit, but every time the moon does its thing and, and cycles and rhythms change, those are the astral energies. Those are the astral energies. It's just that the moon is close and very, has a very strong effect on us. Okay? But all the astral bodies are affecting us constantly. It's a constant. It is believed that the astral bodies are giving us the information collectively of our purpose and our place in life. Purpose. So the fifth stage of healing is actually understanding, realizing, being in harmony with your purpose in life. It's actually a strange thing. It's We have anecdotal stories of people who say, oh, I'm not going to die yet, baby, I'm not done. I'm not going to die right now, I'm not done. Or, I'm done so I can die. Purpose. A person is introduced to illness. They'll say, oh, I got things to do, I don't have time for that. Purpose. Purpose. I don't have time for that. I got things to do. Purpose. The sixth level of healing is what we call physical manipulation of the body's energies. Direct physical manipulation of the body's energies. We can do that either through touch or through no touch. And depending upon your background, you're going to have different names for that manipulation of the physical energies directly. Massage, shiatsu, toina, energy healing, reiki, yada, yada, yada. Okay? But this is the direct manipulation of the energies of the body. The next level of healing is called Yao, which is, we call herbal medicine. But understand that herbs are food. It's just that herbs are an intense concentration of the earth energies. But herbs are food. And you're going to get an herbal introduction in the last part of the course, and it's going to be the spiritual aspects of herbs and how we use herbs for healing and harmonizing the energies of the body. The eighth level is called Di-Shu. The shu is the same thing as the holes, the energy holes. Di, however, is now pressing or puncturing those holes. So Di-Shu is acupuncture. And acupuncture is pressing the energy holes of the body to manipulate, to manage the health of the body. Now when we start getting into working with the energy points of the body, we have various number of ways of working the energy points of the body that are not with the hand. So we have cupping, we have moxa burning, we have magnets, things like that. But the idea is to manipulate specific energy points on the body to assist the body in its healing process. Okay, now, the part of medicine, the part of healing that I didn't cover, and this is called the ninth level. The ninth level of healing is slashing, burning, poisoning, ripping and tearing. Or we call Western medicine. Okay? See, it goes, you know, and as I say, this is a hierarchy of healing. In meditation, what are you looking at really doing? You're looking at connecting with the real subtle energies of wholeness and health, of the universe, the universal energy. So you're looking at connecting at a very, very subtle level, and at this level, a lot of the work is resolving issues before they even happen. Resolving them before they happen. In other words, I saw you coming. So that level of healing is not very dramatic. There aren't any heroes. There aren't any heroes because there are no fights. There's no wars. We resolved that issue a long time ago. We're not getting any place near that. So this area of healing is also what we call preventative medicine, preventative healing. Prevent the disease from happening in the first place. Now, if the disease is happening, how do you get away from it? How do you get out of it? Which way out? If you knew the way out, would you take it? Yeah, that's what people say. That's what people say. But a lot of times people do know the way out of their disease, and they won't take it. Oh, okay. An alcoholic. Let's get real simple. An alcoholic, a heroin addict, a crack addict, a meth addict. Do they know the way out of their disease? Okay. I mean, let's not be too. Let's slow down a minute and think about this. They know the way out. Do they take it? Okay. So then it becomes, the next stage becomes, is that a disease or is it a symptom? And what's the real disease? And do they know the way out of that? Right? Okay? Meditation. Exercise. Bringing the body and mind into harmony. Harmonizing the body and mind. I can't tell you how many diseases can be resolved with body-mind harmonization. Just that. However, I thought exercise was work. Body-mind harmonization. I thought it was work until I started doing 2 hours worth of meditation. That's work. And, it's like, oh, I'd rather do Tai Chi. 2 hours worth of meditation, because right around 45 minutes, you're like, oh my God. Nutrition, feng shui, Ming Shu, being in harmony with the astral energies of the universe. Physical manipulations of the body energies, herbal manipulation, acupuncture. Now, if your disease has progressed to whereas these processes are not having effect, then yes, we have to go in and cut. Yes, we have to go in and burn. Yes, we have to go in and intoxicate, poison. Yes, we have to go in and tear, slash. But understand that, hypothetically, from the healing traditions, we only have to do that if we've gotten beyond these other methods, these other measures and other methods. But what you'll find in healing these days is that we haven't gotten beyond these other methods and other measures, which are more holistic and which promote health. And we're right into the area of promoting death, which is slash, burn, cut, poison. To the degree these days that the number of people killed by medical methods is astronomical. Astronomical. My daddy had cancer. And he had cancer of the lymph nodes. Let me tell you what he said. He went in, had his procedure, He came out, he looked at me, he said, Warren, it killed me. It killed me. He said, I only have a couple of weeks left here. If I would have not let them bother me, I could have probably had 6 more months going. He said, they killed me. He was right. But he had good insurance. He had good insurance. They don't let you get away. Don't have good insurance. They'll kill you using up that insurance. Okay. So these are the 8 stages of healing in Taoist medicine. Now, these eight categories of healing you're going to find are going to be consistent across your spiritual traditions. Now, note that surgery, what we call chemotherapy, what we call irradiating, they are part of the healing process. But this is when the situation has gotten so bleak and that you're so beyond. Okay, yeah, let's go in and let's cut it out, and then after we cut it out, now let's see what we can do to bring, to reestablish health and healing, health and wholeness.
What about childhood cancer?
Okay, what about it?
Well, say it happens really quick and it's bone cancer, and say we have to do something about it. There's no way of preventing it. Is there purpose already done?
You know, I could talk about that, but I'd rather not. Wait. Didn't I say I was going to be controversial? Didn't I say I was going to... Okay. Childhood cancer is what you're talking about happens on a genetic level. And the genetics come from the parents. So the prevention, right, so the prevention would have had to happen a generation before.
So it's a good way of thinking.
Hmm?
I said it's a good way of thinking about it. I just never thought about it.
But, I hate putting that burden on the parents, that's, it's like, well, how do we know? I'll tell you this, people say life doesn't come with an instruction manual. Yes, it does. We, as a species, have actually understood the mechanisms of health for 10,000 years. They've been written down for 10,000 years as a species. Anybody watch movies? Anybody ever see that movie, Tom Hanks? He's running around trying to get the secrets of the Vatican type of a thing.
Oh, the Da Vinci Code.
The Da Vinci Code. Anybody ever seen the Da Vinci Code?
Yeah.
Right? You know where he went down into the Vatican and they had this store of this library? Well, those folks have been gathering information from around the world for